Hey friends, good afternoon. Starting a little early because I changed my plans a little bit. So it's probably 4:50, thereabouts. And we are in DUMBO. Gusts of wind. We'll see how long this umbrella lasts. Probably not very. In fact, we may just put it away. JP, good to see you. Elma's here, good to see you. Just bear with me a second as I get my umbrella situated. Lisa's here, my beautiful bride. We will hope for the best. So I'm in the DUMBO neighborhood of Brooklyn. A little windy, a little rainy. Rain should be ending, I hope. And we have this beautiful view of the Brooklyn Bridge to our left and the Manhattan Bridge to our right. The neighborhood across the East River over there, called Two Bridges. So we'll take a little look at Brooklyn Bridge Park, and then we will cross the bridge at some point. If you just joined, say hi in the chat, let us know where you're watching from. Beautiful and historic Jane's Carousel. Nicely lit up. If we get an awful lot of rain on the lens, just let me know. I'll take care of it. So the wind and the rain today are remnants of Hurricane Ian. Thankfully, we've been all right, nothing terribly serious. And obviously, our thoughts and hearts are with our friends in Florida, especially who are impacted. I hope it'll be quick and easy recovery. The train you hear is running along the Manhattan Bridge right to our right, just north of us, just a tiny bit. Jane's Carousel. Looks like a decent number of people in there actually, trying to stay out of the rain. It's a beautiful carousel. Spooky Sebastian's here. Upgraded screen name for the season. Joanna's here as well. Andrew's here. Lots of wonderful and friendly faces. Good to see everybody. Well, I guess maybe they're having a little birthday party in there. That's cool. That's awesome. Very big line here is because the final Little Amal event is happening today. It was my intention to go to it, but there's supposed to be 2 today. The first one got rained out, and then the second one they've moved inside into a theater, so we weren't going to be able to stream inside. So we had to change our plans, and instead we'll go for a walk. And you can see the water is going absolutely crazy. Again, these are the remnants of Hurricane Ian. And I probably shouldn't be standing so close because I do, I hope that was in frame. It is crashing against the pier every now and then. It's very beautiful over here. So I'm a little bummed not to see the last Little Amal event, but we did record a few of them. I have one more that I've recorded that I haven't posted yet, so stay tuned for that. And on, I think it was Friday night, Lisa and I went to one where we didn't film. We took some pictures, but we just went to go and to experience the event. And that one was at Battery Park City, so lower Manhattan on the west side. Primarily for 9/11 families, so people who lost loved ones. And it was just this beautiful, Lisa can put in the chat her thoughts, but it was this terribly moving experience. There was this sort of dance performance, a poem, live music, but just really, really, really powerful, very hard to describe. Very happy we got to experience that. So, like I said, we're in Brooklyn Bridge Park, and this particular section is Emily Warren Roebling Plaza. And the story of Emily, very, 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 very briefly, is that she helped to complete the Brooklyn Bridge after her husband became deathly sick as part of the bridge's construction. He took it over from his father, who died in the construction of Brooklyn Bridge. So just incredible history. Always recommend people look up the Ken Burns Brooklyn Bridge documentary. It's one of my favorites. Some beautiful bridge views over here. So we'll walk around a little bit, and then, like I said, we'll probably cross the bridge. Nice view of the Statue of Liberty up ahead. And to our right, World Trade Center. The wind is incredible today. I have a wind cover on my mic, so I never know exactly how much you're hearing of it. But what I can tell you is what I'm hearing is an awful lot of wind. Beautiful Statue of Liberty. As we walk underneath now the Brooklyn Bridge. Lisa says sound is great. But Lisa, tell the chat what you thought about the little mall event that we went to. Lisa, heavily pregnant, so we're not doing a ton these days, but I really wanted her to see at least one of the little mall events. So I dragged her out. She even had to delay seeing Hocus Pocus 2 for this. So what a giving. Coming up to Old Fulton Street and Pier 1. To our right, the River Cafe, which we've never had. Every time we eat down here, it's a pizza restaurant called Giuliana's, which I highly, 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 highly recommend. Followed by the Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory, which I also highly, highly, highly recommend. Why don't we go check out Pier 1 for a sec? Used to be that the Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory was in this little building, but I guess they, whoever operates it, awarded the lease to a different business. But I think it worked out okay for the Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory. They got a great new space. Lisa says the event we went to was quite emotional. Yeah, it was really powerful. So this is Pier 1. You can pick up the New York City ferry here. Beautiful views of the bridge, Lower Manhattan. When we get closer, I'll show you some other stuff. Then he says the ice cream factory is yummy. It's one of our favorites. Like I said, we'll go to Giuliana's first. You get some pizza. It's coal oven. So if you're not super familiar with some of the Northeast styles of pizza, coal oven pizza is kind of a thing up here. Also in Connecticut. And the pizzas are super thin. And the way coal works, you know, a normal electric pizza oven is probably 600 degrees. Coal can be north of 1,000. So it cooks incredibly quickly. You get this kind of very crispy bottom. And still kind of chewy inside, but it's also super thin. And the coal gives it this kind of smoky flavor. And if you're not prepared for it, it's very different than, you know, chain pizza or anything you might be more familiar with. But can't recommend it enough. So beautiful Lower Manhattan here. We have Brooklyn Bridge followed by the Manhattan Bridge. And if you can see in the distance, the Empire State Building. Lisa says, and amazing when a mall looks at you, it really feels like she's looking at you. Yeah. So for those who don't know, Little Mall is a like 12-foot tall puppet that represents a Syrian refugee girl, 10 years old. She's been in New York for what seems like a few weeks now, doing 50 plus events. We went to a few of them, really incredible. I'll post one more. I'm a little bummed not to see her last one today, but it's just not working out logistically. But definitely check out those videos I recorded of her. Go to walkwiththemall.org to read about her. and support what they're doing if you can. So why don't we go walk Old Fulton Street on our right. Again, Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory, a favorite. I'll show you Juliana's, and then we'll go over to the Brooklyn Bridge. It's so beautiful down here. Oh, umbrella down. So when I started this stream, I did have my umbrella up, but it immediately blew out twice, so we'll do something different. Oops. Let's go check out, I'll show you Juliana's as we head over to the Brooklyn Bridge. It's so funny what a difference the rain makes. This area is usually packed because it's such a popular place to finish after you've walked the bridge. Or if you're coming from Brooklyn, you start here. But it's been windy and rainy all day long. So here on our left, Juliana's. Sign says coal-fired, New York cidered. I see Adam, I see Ambrose. Thank you both for being here. So you'll notice next to Juliana's is a restaurant called Grimaldi's. My understanding is that Juliana's is basically Grimaldi's became a chain. Like the name got sold off. And Juliana's is still the family-run operation, so that's where we go. Sally's here, Norella's here. Good to see all of you. Little rainy day here in New York. We're going to head over now to Washington Street. We'll check out the beautiful photo spot of the Manhattan Bridge, and then we'll walk the Brooklyn Bridge. Adam, we need a interviewing update from you when you can. Said it before, I'll say it again. We are all invested in your success. Justin Earl says Melbourne friendly time. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, this ended up just being a little bit of a random wander today. I was hoping to see Little Amal off, but because of all the bad weather, that wasn't going to work out. So, DUMBO it is. Ambrose says, I'm the only one in the world who prefers Grimaldi's. Well, on your side, Ambrose, is that there's generally less of a wait there. I don't know that we've had that one, but we've had Grimaldi's, and it's fun. You know, it's good pizza. I'm not, you know. But we are loyalists to Juliana. Adam says, truly shocking thing to say. Probably going to get some guff for this. But confession, not the biggest pizza fan. Wow. It's like a blasphemy here in New York. it makes up a significant amount of our calories. More than it should, I can assure you. So this is Washington Street, one of the top streets I wish they would close to cars. And this is why. One of the most spectacular views in New York City. If you've ever seen the movie Once Upon a Time in America, you'll recognize this. Leela's here, good to see you. Ambrose is shocked, as are we. And I always like to point this out, but it can be a little hard to see, but it frames perfectly the Empire State Building. Mila Kunis made the same confession on Jimmy Kimmel's show since he's in Brooklyn and got some booze. Ambrose says he took his selfie here during the pandemic. Yeah. Well, during weekdays, I don't know if it's weekdays, I don't know what the story is, but there's many times where some of this is blocked off. And it's not so life-threatening to stand here for a few minutes and take pictures, but maybe because it's Sunday, maybe because of the weather. It is open. Oh, it's so beautiful, isn't it? I just love this view. So, I hope you guys aren't getting tired of this. I actually did walk the Manhattan Bridge and the Brooklyn Bridge recently on a beautiful day. So you'll be able to compare and contrast a windy, rainy, stormy day to a perfect sunny day. Those will post in the coming days. Let me get off the street so I don't get hit by this car. And we'll start heading over to the Brooklyn Bridge. Adam says he'd rather have pasta. Well, we are not opposed to pasta.
That we walk around in circles.
Oh, I love it down here in Dumbo. The architecture is just beautiful. I think I've told Adam before, but we've, in terms of recent restaurants, every now and then we've been going to Rosemary's East. There's also the original Rosemary's in the West Village. But they make terrific pasta. And for those who are open to it, they also have great pizza. No cars coming. So we're walking up Washington Street now, where we will catch our entrance to the Brooklyn Bridge. And given the recent weather, I definitely did see people walking on it, but I bet we're going to see as few people on it as you're likely to ever see.
It should be like 15 minutes.
So let's go check that out and get some views. As we make our way over to Manhattan from Brooklyn. I don't know why that car stopped. They have a green light. Nobody coming. So I'll hop across. Oh, and I never see this. There's no vendor here. True. KN is here. Found us on another stream. Well, very nice of you to check ours out. If you're new to the channel, we do mostly recorded walks around the city, but on the weekends often go live. Today we started in DUMBO in Brooklyn. Gonna make our way back to Manhattan on this stormy, rainy day with the remnants of Hurricane Ian. Oh, Burroughs, do you mean Lucali? That's one of my, we're very familiar with it, but that's one of the few places I have not actually been to. Patroon, I went there years ago because I worked in that area. It's been a long time. I don't know if you could tell, but the wind just moved me about a foot to my left. And the way it was blowing probably went right into the mic because I have the mic at an angle, the way it's snapped onto me. The best pizza in the city. Yeah, I mean, that's been very high on my list, and that's a style we're very interested in. It just never worked out. Because my understanding is there's you go, you check in, could be 10 minutes, but it could be 2 hours. One day, we will make it one day. So I didn't point this out, but speaking of pizza, coming soon, L&B Spumoni Gardens is going to have a location on Old Fulton Street where we just were. It was just a little farther from where we were standing. The last couple of times I've been here, it doesn't look open yet. If anybody happens to know when that's going to open, I'd be curious. The original L&B is like one stop before Coney Island. So for a lot of people, it's pretty far out to get there. But it is absolutely delicious. Justin Norell needs a restaurant for Christmas Day, as the boathouse will be closed. So you want Christmas Day. So, I mean, Christmas is tough. There will be lots of restaurants open, but the thing that's always tricky about Christmas, any major holidays, is they may be doing prefix menus, which can be very expensive. One place Lisa and I like a lot is near Lincoln Center, called Cafe Fiorello, and they're usually open even on holidays, but you're gonna have to check. They sometimes do prefix though, so just something to be aware of. It can be pretty expensive at some places. I would start to look at Open Table, which is the reservations website. and you'll start to get a sense of what may be open. And if you go to the restaurant page, you'll start to get a sense of if they're doing a set menu and whether it fits your budget or not. That's like a Fiorello is just a great. It's a good celebrations kind of spot, and they make a mean martini. Smith is a very reliable. Just if you need something that will work for any group, I think the Smith is a great recommendation. Good drinks as well. All right, the wind is really picking up as we get to the Brooklyn Tower. It's so beautiful over here. Statue of Liberty in the distance. The other thing I recommend on holidays when it can be tricky is consider different types of food. So consider, for example, Chinatown, Chinese food. Our favorite in Chinatown is called Wo Hop, and it's been there for like 90 years. Really good. Or Curry Hill, which is in the East 20s. A play on the neighborhood named Murray Hill. Check out some Indian restaurants. We like one called Bhatti. Bhatti. There's another one in near Union Square called Gup Shup, which is a lot of fun. I don't know if any of these will be open, but we often look at different types of food on holidays. Yeah, Albaros talk about how things have changed. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely noticed that more and more restaurants are open. You know, sometimes they'll be closed for maybe for lunch, for example. You know, tell all the employees go be with your family, but then they open for dinner or for takeout. Suitcase says hotels can be good on Christmas too. Yeah, and a lot of the New York hotels have actually really good restaurants. Okay, the wind. I have to lean into the wind over here. So this is the Brooklyn Tower of the Brooklyn Bridge. As we slowly make our way across. If you've never walked across the Brooklyn Bridge, it's about a mile long. So you should definitely give yourself, you know, half an hour, 40 minutes, because people do walk pretty slowly. So this is there's many plaques on the Brooklyn Bridge, but this is one of my favorite ones, dedicated to the memory of Emmeline Warren Roebling, whose faith and courage helped her stricken husband, Colonel Washington Roebling, complete the construction of this bridge from the plans of his father, John A. Roebling, who gave his life to the bridge. Quote, back of every great work, we can find the self-sacrificing devotion of a woman. it would not have been completed without Emily. So whenever I'm on the bridges or talking about the bridges, I mention BMW, which is a helpful way of remembering that the three bridges down here, one after the other, is the Brooklyn, the Manhattan, and the Williamsburg bridges. But my favorite is the Brooklyn Bridge. And since they've moved they've separated the walking path from the biking path, it's so much nicer to walk across. And if you're willing to walk on it in 40-mile-per-hour winds, you get it as near to yourself as you could ever get the Brooklyn Bridge. Keep getting blown to the left. The wind is... I'm facing into the wind now, so it's coming... It really feels like from north to south. And let's get a view from this direction. Ambrose. If it weren't for her. Beautiful view of the World Trade Center up ahead to our left. And the many buildings, the lower Manhattan skyline. Alvaro says that bridge is history. Yeah, I mean, I think I said it earlier, but check out, if you can find it, the Ken Burns documentary on the Brooklyn Bridge. I think it's one of the most fascinating of his documentaries, and it's one of his first, if not his first. It's so interesting. Get another view of the Statue of Liberty while we're over here. So gorgeous. So Justin Earl, you're coming on Christmas. It's going to be so beautiful. I'm really looking forward to all the Christmas activities and all of the holiday activities. The Saks Light Show, all the lights along 5th Avenue and 6th Avenue. The Bryant Park Holiday Market, Union Square Holiday Market. I'm hoping that the Botanical Gardens will do their light shows again. There's so much to look forward to during the holidays. And at that point, our little dude will be a couple months old. Let's check out the Empire State Building over here. Well, you're taking a nice long trip. That gives you a chance to really dig into things. People always ask, what do you do? And if it's a very short trip, I usually tell people just to consider focusing on an area because you'll just burn yourself out if you try to do everything. The down coats are coming out already. Just as an FYI, it's like 50 degrees. It does feel colder just because there's very intense winds right now, 40 miles an hour. But it might be a little early to bring the down out already. It's not going to give you much optionality when it gets 30 degrees cooler. Christian's here, good to see you. Bronx Zoo has lights planned for this. Yeah, we really liked both of them. I think my favorite was the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens light show, and I have a video of both of them, the Brooklyn Botanic Garden and the Bronx, New York Botanical Garden, if you search my older videos. The thing with the Brooklyn light show and the Brooklyn Botanic Garden in general is it's a little more compact, I think. And so it just makes for the light show, it just makes the loop like very tight and straightforward. And the Bronx one was a little more spaced out. But they were both so fun. I'm really looking forward to that again. And they did like hot chocolate and activities for kids and all sorts of stuff. It was a lot of fun. Really looking forward to that. So this is the Manhattan Tower of the Brooklyn Bridge. So we're about 2/3 of the way across. Down there, Pier 17. Adam said when people visit him, he tells them you have a day to do all the super touristy Midtown stuff, and then you're mine, and you're going to experience New York like a New Yorker. I love that. Whoa, this wind. I guess you can see it on the ponchos that some people are wearing, because otherwise the bridge is pretty sturdy. Yeah, I mean, if you've been here before, the other thing that people often do is, you can spend more time. If there's a favorite museum, you can spend more time. If you're really into theater, you can just do a bunch of shows, and you could go twice a day if you want. Just depends on what part of New York you're looking to experience. And of course, if you've been multiple times, you may want to focus on, different boroughs. It doesn't have to all be the same square mile. I think we've experienced that signal drop off before. Right there. Oh well. Bear with me. Love the buildings down here. I think so many of them are really beautiful. On our right, Lincoln's Municipal Building. There's a Frank Gehry building on our left. And one of my favorite skyscrapers, the early Woolworth building. Gorgeous Gothic architecture. One of my favorites. Adam likes a gnocchi in gorgonzola. Adam, there's a Italian restaurant. Well, I'll give you two recommendations. So one, which I've said before, in the far west village, Malatesta, one of their pastas is a gnocchi in gorgonzola, and it's so good. That's one of my favorites. And then there's another one on West 13th, but the name of the restaurant is escaping me. Maybe Lisa can help me remember. She's been there multiple times. It's West 13th between like 6th and 7th, I think. That's a good question. I mean, I know the Pace University buildings are over here to our left. And then the kind of interesting shaped one is the Frank Gehry building, which does have a name, but I guess I don't know what the name is. And then to our right is an area of the city called Civic Center, which houses a lot of the government buildings. And this first really gigantic one is the David Dinkins Municipal Building, which houses a lot of the city government agencies. Ambrose says, is it Olive Garden? Close, but no. It's so funny. Here Be Bar and Action Kid reviewed the Olive Garden in Times Square recently. Part of their video of tourist traps. I don't think they liked it very much, but they surprisingly really liked the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. In particular, the happy hour specials. It really made me laugh. Not places that New Yorkers find themselves too often. Lisa says Da Andrea. Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. So Adam, if you haven't had Malatesta or Da Andrea for your gnocchi gorgonzola, those are two more for your list. And both are owned by real Italian folks. So the food is not, it's not like red sauce American. It's more authentic, if you're into that sort of thing. And thank you, Lisa. Ah, Adam says he went to brunch at D'Andrea, so there you go. It was during COVID. They had one of the most beautiful outdoor setups. They really, they covered it in plants. I mean, it was just really beautiful. Showing that it was entirely possible to be creative with your outdoor space, which Lisa and I are tremendous fans of. Victory's here, starting university tomorrow. Well, we wish you the very best of luck, and we thank you for even popping in to say hello. Always good to see you, and thank you for your support. We wish you great success at university. Are you going as a student or as a teacher? Or something else? Adam confirms their outdoor setup is very Instagrammable, yes. I was not just making that up. Yeah, that's a great spot. Really, really good food. That's so funny. It's kind of off the beaten path, I would say, for most folks. So I think of it as more of a neighborhood restaurant. But it's good to know that is in the popular imagination. Okay, so I'm making a left because I did like I said before, there's probably a lot of folks who just hopped on, but I did a recorded walk recently of the Brooklyn Bridge on a really beautiful day, and I walked right. I went into Civic Center a little bit, over to Foley Square and Thomas Paine Park. So today we'll go left. We'll check out Lower Manhattan. Lisa and I, like I said, we were in Lower Manhattan on Friday night to see a little mall event. And I guess the last one, yeah, I mean, I guess that's the last little mall event that we will see, because today's her last day here. And we didn't really film. We did take some pictures, and Lisa might have, taken a little stuff, but we didn't really film it for the channel because we just wanted to go and be in the moment, be present. And it was really beautiful. Justin Norell says, Adam, you may need to be the restaurant guy. Yeah, Adam, I think we've been strongly encouraging Adam to start a restaurant bar recommendation YouTube. My vote was, because he also knows hotels, was that he stream or record videos in hotel bars in particular and let us know his favorites and like what to order, all that sort of thing. So please join me in gently persuading Adam that his calling awaits. So this is City Hall Park. Why don't we pop in for a second? We'll get a view of City Hall, and we'll go see the Woolworth building. Like I said, one of my favorite buildings in New York City. There's lots of art here in the park. I'm afraid I don't know a ton about it, just that it's here. But these large sort of brown rust-colored statues, I know, is part of it. And then in the recorded video from City Hall Park, there's some pretty interesting art there as well. And here's City Hall. Absolutely beautiful building, especially at night when it starts to get lit up. For those who don't know, a really sad story. An EMT, emergency medical technician, who was months away from retiring and who helped in the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks, was murdered recently, and the city lowered the flags in her memory and honor. So encourage, you know, those who want to read about her and her memory. Just a sad story, awful story. Al Burrows mentions Mulberry Street. Yeah, it's not very far from us, and we were just there a couple weeks ago for the Feast of San Gennaro, which was between Canal and Houston. And I wish, I mean, I've said this many, many times, but there are moments when I wish we had smell-o-vision so I could share more of the experience with you guys than just pointing a camera at it. The smells during the Feast of San Gennaro were unbelievably powerful. So like I said, one of my favorite buildings in the city, the Woolworth building, if I won the lottery, this would be pretty high on the list. Dorg Rock is here. I saw Lisa said hello. Sorry, I was probably rambling on about something. It's good to see you. Thank you for hopping on. So we wander a little bit of Lower Manhattan. Thankfully, the rain seems to have stopped, and the wind, now that we're off the bridge, is way, way, way down. So it's much more comfortable now. When I started and I felt the wind, I realized I probably should have packed some gloves. It's funny how quickly the city switches from summer to fall. Okay, I would normally hop across the street, but the car's music is so loud, we're gonna wait for this light instead and go a different direction. Try to get away from the music if we can. And we'll make our way first over to St. Paul's Chapel, otherwise known as the little chapel that stood for surviving the September 11 attacks, relatively unscathed. If you Google it, the Woolworth building, I don't think it's sold yet. There is a penthouse available. I want to say it's like $100 million. I mean, some insane, absolutely insane amount of money. But the pictures are pretty special, as you might imagine. So, Lisa and I, when we came to Lower Manhattan on Friday, got out at the Fulton Street station. And the first thing you do whenever you're on one of these streets, we're on Vesey right now, is you just pan your head I mean, it's hard. I know you're seeing it on your screen, but it's kind of hard to describe how truly massive this building is. So this is obviously the One World Trade Center Freedom Tower, a patriotic 1,776 feet tall. And when you just turn your face, it fills up your entire vision. You know, as compared to St. Paul's Chapel here. Adam is recounting it was a 3-week stint of jury duty, early summer 2009. Yeah, Lisa she was on a grand jury. I thank you both for doing your civic service. Make our way across if we can. Thank you. So we wander this little area. Victory studying in Poland, explaining some of the differences. Oh, we wish you so much luck. And as they would say on Broadway, break a leg. Give you some views of the Oculus. I have to say, I mean, it's always beautiful here on a, on a clear day with nice blue sky. But I guess because of the history, I am more drawn to this area when it's not so nice out. It's just the fog, the rain, the clouds. I guess it just sort of more fits the mood. Adam was down this way last Monday and Tuesday interviewing. Well, we wish you as well good luck and break a leg on those interviews. I know you've been, it has become its own full-time job for you. Oh, we got here at a lucky time where the Oculus lights are coming on, and it's kind of dim enough around us where they really look nice, don't they? Adam says, you're either very tall or there's a lot of little people out. Well, I am tall. It's funny, in my Little Amal videos, I'm surprised nobody's commented, but I kind of film at a decently high height, like normally. But at those, because there's been so many people, I've been holding the camera like 2 to 3 feet higher than normal. So like right now the camera is around my face so I can try to read the comments, which I have to tell you guys, when there's 100+ people, it's like not easy anymore. They just like fly by. But when I was filming Little Amal, and there's just people everywhere, and in fact there's also like children on their parents' shoulders. I was holding the camera like, I don't know, 7 or 8 feet high. I thought more people would comment on that, what a weird angle it was. Ambrose says aerial shots of Amal. Exactly. That's exactly what I thought people would be like, is this on a crane? Temperature today, let me see if I can read it on my watch. 54 Fahrenheit. Not too bad. In fact, quite nice, quite comfortable when it's not in the 40-mile-per-hour winds. Dorg Rex says that's one of the reasons he can walk the speed of light. He has long legs. Yep. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, I will show you more of New York than anybody else by virtue just of walking more of it more quickly. Maybe except for Gabe. Gabe, I think, actually is taller than me. Earth asks if we could bang on a yellow taxi and yell, I'm walking here. I'll leave that to our friend Action Kid as he visits New York. He did a nice I'm walking here when a New Jersey driver almost ran him over. 13 Celsius, yeah, there you go. I always try to do the math in my head, but I'm always off by a little bit anyways. The Oculus, it's another example where it's very nice inside if you're shopping in there or just kind of browsing in there during the day. It's nice when the sun comes in. But if you're outside looking at it, it's so much nicer at night when the lights come on, like this purple glow. And during, I'm not down here enough to know like what the color palette is all the time, but during the September 11th anniversary, there was also some red and some blue. So, you know, had the whole red, white, and blue thing going on. It was really beautiful. So we're entering now the 9/11 Museum Memorial Museum over here to our left. And because people always ask, no, this did not close. There was a second museum, which I think was primarily collected documents of 9/11 survivors. I mean, please correct me if I'm getting that mistaken. That did close down. It was a different museum, but this remains open. I always tell people, if you've never been, you really have to be prepared. It is just an incredibly difficult, and powerful, but very, very, very upsetting museum to experience. So you just you have to be aware of that going in. Lisa and I, like I said, we came here Friday night, and we're so rarely down here at night. And in fact, it's too early now to show you this, but when it gets darker, I didn't even know this, but maybe I knew it but had forgotten. But the pools are lit up at night, and it was so beautiful. We'll see if we're here long enough, if the lights will come on. That is such a powerful memorial. Or else says, cried like a baby. Yeah, I think we've said it before at other visits here. The museum is filled with tissue dispensers. And I mean, there's only a certain subset of types of museums where they have to do that sort of thing. I mean, people were just weeping openly. Yeah. And I mean, we've talked about it before, but a part of it is because it was such a relatively recent event. You know, there's video, there's audio, there's voicemails, there's, I mean, it's just, But even if you don't go to the museum, the memorial is so beautiful. Just walking and standing by we're at the North Tower pool. It's very moving, very powerful, and very beautiful in its way. Yeah, Adam, I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm going to pause here for a moment. If you see a white rose, those are left by the memorial for people on their birthdays. So in this case, Robert J. Hayes. So we'll give a moment of silence. I have I was here on September 11th this year just to record some of the different ceremonies and things that were happening that day. And obviously family members or friends, coworkers come, and if you see any of the pictures or my video or anybody's video from that day, I mean, just the memorial was covered in flowers and notes and really, really powerful. And it was kind of like today, September this year. It was a foggy, rainy day. But it's so beautiful down here. Victory, it was unexpected. Yeah. I mean, we usually go live a little earlier on the weekends, but I was saying before, we have the remnants of Hurricane Ian. So it's been a very rainy and windy weekend. And then originally I was going to go to Brooklyn to see off Little Mall, but the event, it wasn't going to work for streaming. So a little impromptu, but I'm always grateful that everybody hopped on, explore our little part of the city with us. S. Fields is here. Colleen, thank you. Always good to see you. It's so beautiful here. I just find the pool, it's so it's both moving but very peaceful. It'll be interesting. We'll come up, we come back here with some frequency. It'll be interesting to watch the trees change colors. I've been in Central Park a couple times, and it looks like the trees are beginning, sort of like this one, they're starting to change. They're starting to change color. Oh, Justin Earl, that's so nice of you. Thank you for your kindness and your support. And we're excited, along with Adam, who's being voluntold to do this, but to help come up with some restaurant and activity suggestions for you. Make sure you have the best trip possible. Let's do a walk along the south pool, and then we'll take a visit to Survivor Tree, and then I think we'll head towards Battery Park.
Right here. And then the North Tower was right there.
Yeah, Adam, I figured it would certainly be a different experience, if nothing else. But it does kind of capture the mood as well. Sometimes when you come on a nice day, and I don't want to I don't know how I want to put this precisely, but if you come on a nice day, sometimes people, they don't behave the way you think you might at a place like this. I think that's all I want to say about that. Ooh, the wind is really picking up the... Ooh. I'll have to wipe the lens in a little bit. It's really picking up the water from the pool. Dusty Cole's here. It's good to see you. Yeah, S-Fields. It's like I don't want to. You know, I that's exactly right. I think sometimes people forget where they are. Wow, you really can start to see the trees change color. I'm sure I've been here after a snow, but I guess in my mind's eye I can't picture it, so one day we'll have to experience that and see what it's like. So as we make our way around the South Tower pool, we'll walk over to Survivor Tree. And I'm sure we've shown it at some point, but across, I think it's Liberty Place, is the street right in front of us. There's a park that overlooks the memorial called Liberty Park, and there's an Anne Frank tree there. I don't think we're going to go to Liberty Park today. I think we're going to keep walking, but I really recommend that. And as compared to the memorial, there's even fewer people there at any given time. And it has these beautiful views of the memorial. So I really recommend Liberty Park. It's also connected, I think, to Brookfield Place, so it can be convenient depending on what you're up to that day. Well, Victory, thank you for being here. Again, we wish you the best of luck with your studies, and we hope you feel better, and we'll see you again very soon, I hope. Adriana's here. Colleen says, seems people there today being very respectful. Yeah, I mean, you have to come out on a really rainy, kind of dreary day. You know, it seems to have brought the folks who really just want to choose to be here. So again, this is Survivor Tree, found in the rubble, nursed back to health by the Parks Department, and eventually replanted here. I mean, it's such an amazing and beautiful story of life and survival against the odds. Really powerful. Always beautiful, powerful, I always enjoy my visits here, even though it's not a happy place, but calm and reflective. I have walked the Sky Bridge before. I don't usually do it on the streams just because I've had signal issues. But I will tell you, well, I guess I should say two things. One is, when it's open, especially in summer, it's really nice because it will cool you off on a summer day. Now, I just said if it's open because Lisa had to use the restroom one day and it was closed. And there was nothing to indicate why it was closed. So just be aware that I guess sometimes it's not open. Oof, I don't know what that car is doing. That's, oh boy. So we're gonna cross here, head over to the Brookfield Place area. I'll give you another view from this angle. Before we go in. Like I said before, it can be very beautiful on a clear day, blue skies, but in its way, it's also very nice to see on a day like this. Again, starting to see the trees, the leaves change color. Suzanne says weather there looks like the weather we're having in North Carolina. Yeah, I mean, I think all of the eastern states, are experiencing what's left of Hurricane Ian. We're so far that obviously, we had some rain and very heavy winds today, but nothing, so far as I've read, that was, life-threatening. So I don't want to suggest we had it anything like the southern states. But I think it's all part of the same system. Check out these trees. I mean, they've already really changed color. Elbros says Chelsea Market has good restrooms. That's good to know. Lisa has mentioned this before, and maybe she can put it into the chat because it's actually unfortunately useful. And I say that with, I hope you can hear frustration in my voice. There's a real problem with public restrooms in New York City. So there's an Instagram account that she follows that mentions where there are nice public restrooms. Coming up on one of my favorite little parks, Pumphouse Park, named because of the pumps underneath, which help to supply cold air and water for the World Trade Center complex. I mean, literally to provide air conditioning and stuff. So the name has real meaning. Lisa says, got to go NYC. Yeah, so follow them on Instagram. I mean, it's such a stupid thing that has to exist, but it can otherwise be pretty expensive if you're, going into restaurants and stuff just to get access to the restrooms. So recently we were here and this entire area was covered in the most beautiful flowers. So obviously, as the season changes, they were tulips last time I think we were here. It was so beautiful, but I guess as the seasons change, so does the landscaping. Coming up on the North Cove Marina. Always beautiful here, with views of our friends in New Jersey across the way. Activity 79, good to see you. It says nice live stream. Well, thank you for that. I guess I should say we did have a little buffering last time we were in this area, so just bear with me if that happens again. But we're just gonna start walking north a little bit. I'm gonna start heading towards home. I don't know how far we'll get because we're now on the bottom half of the battery, but we'll just start walking north and we'll see what we see along the way. Oh, there's that wind. It was enough to stop me in my tracks. Keep pointing the camera up because there's all these amazing angles. Sue K says, looking forward to the holidays, getting to be fall in Santa Fe as well. Lisa says, indeed, we are 3 weeks away. My brain is still slowly realizing it's coming up. Folks, life will never be the same. We are excited, we are happy, we are thrilled, we are nervous. But the little dude, all signs continue to point to happy and healthy. We, for a variety of reasons, we now go for fairly frequent, oh, check out this duck. For a variety of reasons, we go to fairly frequent check-ins, so we get to see the little dude a lot. And last time we were there, they gave us one of those 3D images. And we got to see his supremely chubby cheeks. And he kind of rests with, almost every time we see him, with at least one hand against his head. It is very cute, as you would imagine. And normally at the doctor visits, and just in general, he's very, very, very active, kind of always moving around. But this last time he was very clearly taking a nap. And he had to be, we had to tickle the little dude to get him to Adam asks, am I stockpiling videos? The short answer is yes, I am absolutely stockpiling videos. I normally sort of do a version of that anyways. Like when I have time and it's a nice day, you know, I'll go do a few different things. You know, I might commute down, go do some whatever I need to do, and then walk back, and that gives me, you know, a couple of walks in one go. But obviously there's, as we get closer, you know, I'm not going to want to go as far from home all the time. Hopefully the signal's coming back. So anyways, yes, the short answer is yes, we'll stockpile. I don't know that we'll be able to stockpile enough because I just won't want to leave. I won't want to be very far from Lisa as time marches forth. TBD. Well, Burroughs, glad to find the channel. Thanks for the tour of my hometown city. And check out these beautiful ducks. We've been coming to this area many, many times, so I feel like we've seen them grow up. Beautiful. So we were here, I've said this now multiple times, but we were here on Friday for a little Amal event, and the event is a little north of, I'll walk by where that was, but we walked by here. I love walking by here. I love this little pond. And there were these kids, very young, who were just screaming at the ducks. So I'm sure the ducks are happy that it's a cold, windy, rainy day, and there are, except for me, and my strange device I'm walking around with, no humans screaming at them. There's so many today. Look how many there are. Adriana, quack, quack. Colleen, very nice of you to say so. I was, I'm always reminiscing, but one day we will get Lisa back on the stream as well. One day. Adam says Gabe, after his wife gave birth, was staying pretty close to home. Yeah, and I would remember he you know, and still does. He checks his watch for messages, and you're always a text away from dashing back home. But yeah, for a couple months now, I think, at least, maybe longer, I don't know. I've been trying to do daily videos from New York City. And if you notice at some point that I don't upload, you will know absolutely why. But one day we will be back. We will figure it all out together. So this is called Rockefeller Park, and this is where the little Amal event we went to on Friday was. And like I said, we didn't film that one. That was just to be there together and experience it. And I think it was the first one Lisa had gone to in person. She's seen my videos and all that jazz, but you know, she can put it in the chat. It's very powerful to see Amal in real life. So sorry for those who heard this before, but she's a 12-foot tall puppet, and there's a person inside operating the puppet. There's two people on the outside operating the arms of the puppet. So it's a puppet. You can see it's a puppet. But they somehow create this illusion of life And when she looks at you, it feels like she's looking at you. And they really capture, I mean, what do I know? But like they capture the impression of a young person, a young girl in that case, who's kind of experiencing all these big, crazy, sometimes scary, weird New York City things. It's really powerful. And today was her last day in New York. I like I said, I was hoping to actually stream it, but it just it wasn't streamable for me, at least. And we are very grateful we got to see the events with her that we did. And I'm really happy I got to go to one with Lisa. That was really fun. And if she comes to your city, or if you just can only check her out on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, I really encourage you to. It was so powerful. Lisa says it was, while Sean's videos are great, seeing her in person is a completely different experience. Yeah, it's very hard to describe. She really does feel very real in real life. I hope I convey some of that, but it's very powerful when you're experiencing it in person. And part of what you experience in person that's very hard to capture on the video, especially because I was holding the camera super high just to really get her and like the musicians or whatever the activity was. There's people around her that are just like shaking and weeping, and it's sort of it becomes a procession of people. She goes up to children, or she goes to a person in a wheelchair, or she goes to, it's hard to describe all the different scenarios, but it was really something. S. Field says streamers help make them all part of the city. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorites was Dutch walking with her across the Brooklyn Bridge. So it's the Ginger Rogers quote. So we walked the Brooklyn Bridge today. I told you as we walked across it, the Brooklyn Bridge is about a mile long. I think it's like 1.1 miles end to end. And he did the whole thing backwards, almost at a jog, because there's this amazing all-women marching band carrying her effectively across the bridge. It also gets super narrow, and there were tourists. That was one of my favorite videos. But of the ones I took, there's one in Central Park, which was a scavenger hunt for kids. That was a lot of fun. There was one in Greenwood Cemetery, and the music was so beautiful there. And then I haven't posted it yet, but one from the Lower East Side in Chinatown, which I think folks will really enjoy. But I think my favorite one, which I did post, and if you haven't seen it yet, please check it out, is her visit to Harlem. And I tried to go in relatively blind with all of these events, like the Central Park one. We were doing a stream that day, and I was like, oh, I'll go check that out. Maybe we'll see her for a few minutes. It ended up being this hour-long scavenger hunt. So I try not to read too much and know exactly what we're getting into and just kind of experience it. And in Harlem, it ended up being, all sorts of things I didn't totally expect. So I'm not going to, for those who didn't watch it yet, I want to give you the chance to be surprised as well. But I really recommend that one. It was so fun. So we've done this walk a few times before as a group. This is the Hudson River Greenway. So we're just north of Battery Park City now. We would be, if we were walking inside the city, we would be in the Tribeca area. And it's getting to be that time. I'm hopeful that we'll get some really nice sunset views. It might be a little too cloudy, but like maybe a little hard to see, but like through the trees, underneath the clouds is this beautiful orange glow. So I'm hopeful as we walk north, we may get some good sunset colors. Fingers crossed. Oh, we have another visitor from England. One of our favorite places to visit. It's been a while now since we've been, but one of our favorite places to visit. Hope to make it back before too long. Alburrows says you're parallel to the West Side Highway. Yes, exactly. So we were walking north along the Hudson River Greenway, parallel to the West Side Highway. Coming up now to Pier 26. And during the day, these are really hopping with kids at the playground. A lot of adults come to exercise around here. And then right over here is a little city winery location, so you can grab a drink, some food, live music. There's a lot happening over here. Always love it over here, but I've been meaning to do one around this time so we could try to get some sunset views. Given the clouds, it may be tough, but we'll see what we see. We will see what we see. New subscribers, Stitching with Sue, and Caledonian Photo. Caledonian, so Caledonian sounds very familiar. We were in Edinburgh. It was one of our last trips a few years ago. And the word, I'm afraid I don't know what it means, but Caledonian is something I recall from that trip. So this little location is called City Vineyard, which is like I'm trying to walk past just because there's probably copyrighted music, but it's part of City Winery, which is a series of kind of restaurant and wine shops that do live music. It's really fun. Really recommend those. There's another next to Chelsea Piers up ahead. Well, I'm thankful for everybody. Subscribe, watch, whatever brings you here. If you are new, I would say most of my channel is recorded walks, and my thing is I walk fast and I walk far. So a lot of the time they're not like tours. They're just it's a commute. It's just trying to get somewhere. And so you kind of see and experience real New York City, the sights, the sounds, as I get from place to place. And I find that there's a lot of people who, whether it's the sounds of the city or just seeing people, kind of people watching, find that interesting. So hopefully you'll find that interesting. And then, we do lots of stuff. We go to Central Park, we go to Brooklyn Botanic Garden. We've been doing a lot of ferry rides. I'm a big fan of the New York City and the Staten Island Ferry. And then on the weekend, once or twice a week, we try to go live, like we're doing today. So So if you're into that sort of thing, consider subscribing. And then like today, you might consider hitting the notification bell because we don't always know when we're going to go live. Sometimes it's a little impromptu. Posted a couple recent videos. Fifth Avenue, I think I posted yesterday, where we walked from 90th Street on the Upper East Side to Washington Square Park. Lots to see along the way, and it was the weekend of the Global Citizens concert. And there was just like a mile-long line of people outside of Central Park. That was pretty funny to see. I like sort of knew that was happening, but you know, wasn't really thinking about it when I started the walk. It's just like thousands of people in an area where you don't see, well, you definitely don't see that all the time. And then we went to Rockefeller Center, and the fountains are back at Rockefeller. We saw them, oh, check it out, check out the colors. So it's really low, so I don't know how long we're gonna have with the colors. But how beautiful is that? How amazing is that? That's what I was hoping to see. So I'll try to point at the water as we walk. But yeah, the fountains are back at Rockefeller Center. I don't know how long they'll be there because I had read on the website that that was supposed to end, but I think they realized if the temperatures allowed it, and I've noticed even when it's cold, people are willing to jump in there, that it was one of the best things that they've added to Rockefeller Center recently. Yeah, I literally said this out loud to Lisa, that whenever it rains during the day and it's supposed to stop at night, I have to go to the west side and catch, because I guess the water or the clouds, I don't know the science. It does something where you get these amazing colors. It happens every time. Maybe somebody in the chat knows why it happens more precisely. But yeah, if you're ever in New York, if it rains during the day and it's forecast to stop raining at night, go west, and you'll see the most amazing colors. It's so beautiful in person. Just beautiful. And I'm sorry if I don't see all the chats. I'm very thankful that the channel has grown and so many of you enjoy these walks with us. But I have to tell you, it means the chat kind of flies by the screen sometimes. And I think one of the things that happens on the phone is they'll come all of a sudden, and it must be a network thing. I think someone asked whereabouts we live. So we're on the Upper East Side. And so a lot of my walks will originate from there or end there. And like I said, I will walk long distances. So, I'll walk from the Upper East Side to, downtown if my schedule will allow. And when I do that, I just throw a GoPro on, and you're basically experiencing those walks exactly how I'm experiencing them. Which some people seem to enjoy. Yeah, and this, maybe somebody can look up this pier. This thank you message has been here for a long time. It's fun to see that with the sky in the background. Al Burroughs just finished a job on the Upper East Side. Ah, amazing. Yeah, there's a lot of There's others in the chat. I won't name names, but I know there's others on the Upper East Side as well. All things are relative, but by Manhattan standards, it's a little easier to get by there. And we really like the neighborhoods. Lots of restaurants, love museums. We have Central Park. Gosh, the sky, it's in person. I'm just looking at my phone screen. In person, it's the sky's a little darker and the light is a little brighter. Like there's a little more contrast that my eyes are seeing than I think the camera's picking up. It's like the color is really popping. It's really beautiful. Lane says her brother lives on the east side. Oh, Lisa M. Wiki Lisa has come to the rescue. Lisa M. I Want to Thank You is a song by Alicia Myers. I paint it in the spirit of a DJ playing the song. As double dedication to the Paradise Garage and artist David W. That's how I'm going to pronounce that. And I think you can sort of see, but I think there's like sports facilities up there. You can see. Looks like somebody's maybe throwing something back and forth. I think there might be like a running track up there. I don't know. I've never been up there, but we've read about that. One day we'll make it up there. Jonathan C. says the museums are free and open to all tri-state areas. Yeah, for a lot of museums, if you're from New York or from the area, are often free or pay what you want. And then if you're from other places, you may have to pay now. Okay, so it says volleyball, mini golf, skate park, playground, tennis. Oh, but no, those are pointing along the Hudson River. Huh. I'm trying to see what's in this building. Okay, oh, here we go. This is helpful. Yeah, athletic fields. Oh, that's so cool. So there's like multiple levels of athletic fields. There's some indoor athletic fields. There's some outdoor. There's the New York Trapeze School. That's so funny. Lisa says Paradise Garage was once members only dance club near Pier 40. Wow. I mean, we've done this walk a million times and I'm learning that for the first time. I love it. That's so cool. Sue K says that in Santa Fe it's rainbow season. Amazing. I have to say, yeah, I don't think I've seen a rainbow recently. I don't think I've noticed one recently. Oh, you can sort of see the fields in there. That's cool. Oh, it's beautiful down here. I'm really, really happy we got to see the those sunset colors. The thing is, we're too far east sometimes, so like even if I see it, that it's happening, like I can sometimes hop over to Central Park and try to get some of it, but like you really want to be all the way here on the west side because you just get the sort of unblocked, unimpeded view. And so unless I remember to bake in, you know, the 20 minutes of hustling over to the west side, sometimes I just usually can't make it. So I'm very pleased that we got to see it tonight. Yeah, so I mean, this area we're walking from Tribeca into Meatpacking and Chelsea, and there's a lot of art by or about artists who succumbed to AIDS. And I mean, it's super sad. It's also, you know, there's a lot of really beautiful and powerful art over here, so I'm not, unfortunately, surprised to read that, Lisa, but it's part of this area's history and legacy, I should say. Gosh, I mean, you can see the sky, it just goes on and on. Yeah, Lisa sees it. I mean, it's so beautiful, isn't it? Manny Explorers is here. We are pointing the camera. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think you might be from New Jersey. We are walking along the Hudson River Greenway in Manhattan, facing New Jersey, because we wanted to see this beautiful sky. Gorgeous. And yeah, it just goes on and on. And if we look north, as the clouds kind of come in a little bit, you can see more of it. Like over here, it's too low or something. I don't know. Maybe the clouds or something. It's beautiful. You know what? Maybe we'll go into the pier and see if we can aim the camera north, but try to get past some of the buildings. Let's try that. A lot of people, this is a very popular area to run, and usually on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday morning, if you came here pretty early, you'll see the really dedicated runners. But today, because of Hurricane Ian, this area was pouring, the wind, even right now you can probably hear the wind, or you can hear me raising my voice. You may not hear the wind because of the wind cover on the mic, but if you hear me raising my voice, it's because it's getting super windy. And so I'm gonna go left in no, we'll do that afterwards. Let's go to the pier. But anyways, I was gonna say, folks who would normally come run the Greenway during the day or during morning probably weren't able to, so we're seeing all the folks catching up. Man, he says loves the pink. Yeah, no, it's like it feels like fall all of a sudden. It's so funny. So I think I recorded a few videos already that I'll post in the coming days as I edit them and whatnot. And one day I did some walks. And like I said, it was just a beautiful day, looked like summer, beautiful clear blue skies. And then the very next day, it was like fall. It was, 20 degrees colder. The sky was completely covered in clouds. It's just so funny. All right, so before I point north, let's take a look south. And the thing with the iPhone, there's a lot of things I like about the iPhone, but it's making it look lighter than it is outside now. So what you're seeing on your screen is like 25% brighter than what it's looking like to my eyes, which it does because they think people want to see what you're looking at, but like, imagine the sky is like 20% darker. So as the building lights come on, I mean, it looks so beautiful. So today we're using the when we do live streams, we're using a gimbal and an iPhone. When we do the recorded walks, I'm usually using a GoPro, which has its own set of issues, but All right, I think the pink. So it's not as pink as we look north as it was a little bit ago. Manny says the change of weather made me a bit sick. Still got a bit of a cough. Yeah, no, that's what, you know, when I suffer the same thing where when the temperatures change dramatically. So I'm expecting after today's rain walk, I'll probably have a cough tomorrow. Justin Rowell just brought a GoPro 11 for our trip. So I just got one too. So my Fifth Avenue video, and I posted a video of me walking the reservoir at Central Park. Both of those are with the GoPro 11, which is what you have. I'm really happy with it. I think it's really nice. I'm really liking the color and the detail. The way I use it is a little different. So when I'm doing like my really long walks, usually, like I have it attached to my, sorry, I just didn't want to get hit by the person on the bike. I usually attach it to my backpack. And so, you know, there's a little more bounce than you would get like with what I'm doing now with the gimbal, but the gimbal is so big and it's heavy, and it's also more, like people kind of stare at it, and so it kind of takes you out of the, you know, people don't always act normally around it. The GoPro kind of solves some of those problems, but the result is it's not as smooth as this footage generally is. John W. says it's amazing. It looks like daytime in your video. See, that's the thing with the iPhone, and if you're, let me see if I can do it. So on the iPhone camera app, you can play with exposure, by which I mean you can make things even brighter or you can make them darker. But the streaming app that I use doesn't let me do that, it seems. So yeah, like I said, the video to you looks like 20% brighter than what I'm seeing. Which, when I'm trying to show off, you know, the night sky and the buildings, I kind of want it to look a little darker. So if you guys ever, if you ever watch Walks in Wall Street, I think he would say this is a 10 out of 10. Let me know what you think. Oh, that's a good question. So this is the pier. If somebody could look it up for me, it's the pier next to Christopher Street. So if anybody could tell me, it's the pier next to Christopher Street. I just don't always memorize them. That's Little Island right there, which is Pier 55. So is it Pier 40 something? I don't know. I don't want to guess. 10 out of 10. A lot of 10 out of 10. So I'm with you. I always think I love that they do the colors on the Empire State Building, you know, in honor of events or people or countries. Like they did Brazilian Independence Day and things like that. But the classic white lights, it's always my favorite view. Okay, I just got the 10% battery warning. So we have done this enough times to know that that means we are moments away from the phone shutting off. So I'm going to get us a good view of Lower Manhattan, I think, since that's where we have spent most of our time today. and I'm going to say a big thank you to everybody for being with us. An extra special thank you to Justin Orell, who very kindly donated to us today, and we can't thank you enough for that. And like I said, we'll do more of these, and whether it's me or Lisa, other New Yorkers in the chat, including Adam, we'll do everything in our power to make sure you have an amazing trip. So we will share more restaurant recommendations, we will share events that we know are coming up, etc., etc. But a huge thank you to everybody for being with us today on this kind of impromptu, rainy, windy New York City walk. And we will see you again super soon. Like I said before, if you want to subscribe, we have lots of videos lined up coming. So check those out with us. Otherwise, hit the notification bell so you will know when we go live somewhat randomly. But a big New York City thank you to everybody. Love spending this time with you. And we'll see you again real soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. An amazing start to your week. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye.